Lila walked through the busy streets of Nivera City, her eyes scanning the tall glass towers that reflected the pinkish light of the twin suns. The city was alive with the chatter of humans and aliens alike. Market stalls lined the streets, and merchants sold fruits that glowed faintly, alien fabrics that shimmered, and tools that hummed with quiet energy. Lila loved the city, but today she felt heavy with worry. She had been working at a small transport company for months, barely making enough credits to pay her rent. Life felt repetitive and small. She had dreams of something bigger, but opportunities seemed far away. That was when her data pad buzzed with an urgent message from a distant contact. Her heart skipped a beat as she opened it. Lila, it is with great sorrow that I inform you that Renak has passed away, the message began. Renak. Her friend. Her alien friend. Lila's stomach tightened. Renak was a member of the Erythian race, tall and graceful, with eyes that seemed to shine like liquid silver. They had met 2 years ago when he had saved her from a dangerous cargo accident. He had always been kind to her, and they had shared many adventures in the city and beyond. She sat on the edge of the sidewalk, holding the datapad with trembling hands. She reread the message. It went on to explain that Renak's fortune, vast and complicated, could only be claimed by a legal spouse or a direct relative. Lila's mind raced. She had no family nearby, and Renak had no immediate relatives willing to claim the inheritance. The message ended with a suggestion she could never have expected: if you wish, you may petition to marry Tira, Renak's widow, to claim the estate legally. Lila felt a mixture of shock and disbelief. Marry his widow? She had never met Tira, not in person. She did not even know much about her. And yet, this seemed to be the only legal path to secure Renak's fortune, which could change her life completely. She stood up and began walking toward the spaceport. She needed to think, and moving always helped her think better. The streets buzzed with life around her. Humans hurried past aliens, some with wings, some with shimmering skin, and others with many limbs. Lila felt small, almost invisible, but her mind was racing with possibilities. What would Renak want? She asked herself quietly. He had always been honest and fair, never greedy. He had helped many people in the city. Could he have imagined she would take this path? Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft voice. Lila. She turned and saw a young alien with lavender skin and bright golden eyes standing nearby. She blinked. Do I know you? She asked. The alien smiled gently. I am part of the legal council. I was sent to deliver personal guidance regarding Renak's estate. You have questions, I am sure. Lila nodded. Yes. I don't understand all of this. I don't know Tira. How could I marry her? Just to claim money. The council member's expression was calm. The inheritance is bound by Erythian law. The legal spouse must consent, but beyond that, the law does not care about motives. If you and Tira agree, the union is valid. It is not uncommon for temporary marriages for legal purposes. Lila's mind spun. Temporary marriages. That seemed strange, but it was the only option. If she could do this, she could change her life. She could finally pay her debts, rent a proper apartment, and maybe even travel to other planets. She spent the rest of the day walking through the city, thinking about Tira. Who was she? What kind of alien was she? The thought of meeting her both scared and intrigued Lila. She had never been in a situation like this before. The next morning, she found herself at the gates of Renak's mansion. It was enormous, a blend of human and alien architecture, with flowing curves and tall crystal windows. She hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside. The mansion was quiet, filled with the soft hum of alien technology. She wandered through the halls until she reached a room where a figure sat quietly. Tira. The widow. She looked up, and her glowing eyes met Lila's. Tira's presence was calm and regal, and yet Lila sensed a quiet sadness surrounding her. "I am Lila," she said softly, her voice shaking. "I knew Ranak. He was my friend." Tira inclined her head slightly. "I know of you. Ranak spoke of you often. You helped him in times of trouble." Lila felt a small warmth inside her chest. She was glad Ranak had trusted her enough to speak of her. She took a deep breath. I I received the message. About the inheritance. I I want to help honor Ranak's wishes, but, the only way to do that is, to marry you." Tira's eyes widened slightly. She studied Lila carefully, as if measuring her intentions. "You propose marriage for the fortune?" "Yes," Lila admitted honestly. "I know it sounds selfish. I never wanted this, but I don't have another way. I would only do this legally, just to secure his estate. Nothing else. I I respect you, and I respect him, and I don't want to do anything wrong." Tira remained silent for a long moment. Finally, she spoke. "Ranak would not have wanted anyone to lie or cheat. Your honesty matters. We can discuss this arrangement. The law requires consent, and if we agree, it will be legal." Relief and fear mixed inside Lila. She had expected anger or rejection, but Tira's calm acceptance gave her hope. "I understand," she said. I need to know we are safe. And I need to know you are willing." Tira nodded. "We will take care of the legal matters first. Then, we will see how this arrangement works. You must learn our customs, understand our ways. If you fail to respect them, the law may not fully recognize the marriage." Lila swallowed hard. The challenge was bigger than she thought. She would have to adapt to alien life, learn strange rules, and walk carefully through a world she barely knew. But for Ranak, for herself, she was willing to try. As she left the mansion that evening, Lila looked up at the twin suns setting over the horizon. The city glowed in soft pink and gold. Her heart was a mix of fear and excitement. She did not yet know how this journey would unfold, but she knew one thing: her life was about to change forever. The next morning, Lila returned to Ranak's mansion. The twin suns were rising slowly, casting soft gold and pink light across the city. The air smelled faintly of flowers she had never seen before, and the streets outside were already busy with merchants and travelers. She took a deep breath, feeling a mix of nervousness and determination. Inside the mansion, the quiet hum of alien technology filled the halls. The walls were smooth and shimmering, and soft lights glowed along the edges of the floors. Lila had walked through the halls the previous evening, but today she felt the weight of the meeting to come. Tira was waiting in the central room. She stood tall, her glowing skin catching the light. Her eyes held a calm focus that seemed to see everything at once. Lila felt a little small and unsure of herself, but she reminded herself of why she was here. She had to be brave. "Good morning," Lila said softly, bowing slightly. Tira nodded. "Good morning, Lila. You came early. That is good. We have much to discuss." Lila swallowed. "Yes. I want to understand everything before we make any decisions. I do not want to hurt anyone or do anything wrong." Tira gestured for her to sit. "You must learn our ways. Marriage is not only a legal matter. It is also a bond of trust and respect. Even if we agree for the fortune, we must honor certain traditions. Are you willing?" Lila nodded quickly. "Yes. I will do my best. I want this to be right, not just legal." Tira's lips curved slightly in what looked like a gentle smile. "Good. Then we will begin." For the next several hours, Tira explained the Erythian customs. Lila listened carefully. She learned about the formal greetings, the correct ways to show respect, and the rules for living together in a household. There were rituals, small but important, that marked the legal recognition of a marriage. Lila realized that this was more than signing a contract, it was a careful dance of understanding and trust. You must also understand the council's role, Tira said. They observe and approve marriages. If they find disrespect or dishonesty, they can nullify the contract. You must be patient and learn quickly. I understand, Lila said. I will do everything I can to learn. After the lesson, they paused for a meal. The food was unlike anything Lila had eaten before. Soft, glowing fruits and small dishes with flavors that changed as she chewed. She tried her best to eat respectfully, following Tira's instructions. Tira watched quietly, correcting gently when Lila's hand movements were slightly wrong. By the afternoon, they had discussed the legal matters. Lila needed to officially propose the marriage, and Tira needed to agree in the council's presence. They planned the ceremony for the next day. Lila felt nervous, knowing this step would make everything real. As evening came, Tira suggested a walk in the gardens. The mansion's gardens were enormous, filled with alien plants and gentle water streams. The air smelled sweet, and glowing insects floated lazily around. Lila felt a little more relaxed walking alongside Tira. You are learning quickly, Tira said. Many humans struggle with even the simplest customs. You pay attention. Lila smiled faintly. I want to do this the right way. Not just for the fortune, but because Renak would have wanted it to be fair. Tira's eyes softened. Renak cared deeply for you. He trusted you. That is why this arrangement may work. They walked in silence for a moment. Lila watched the water ripple in the streams and the colors of the flowers. She felt a strange mix of excitement and worry. She was entering a world she barely understood, and yet Tira was helping her navigate it. I have to ask, Lila said cautiously. Do you trust me? Tira paused, looking at the glowing flowers. Trust is earned. But I see honesty in you. That is the first step. If we work together, I believe we can manage this. But you must understand, this is not easy. Our worlds are different, and many may judge us. Lila nodded. I understand. I am ready for that. I want to do this properly. Night fell, and the twin moons rose over the city. Lila returned to her small room in the mansion, trying to sleep but unable to stop thinking. She wondered how the council would react, how the public would respond, and what challenges awaited them. She also wondered about Tira, about her calm strength and quiet wisdom. Lila realized that her respect for Tira was growing every day. The next morning, Lila felt ready. She wore simple but neat clothing, following Tira's instructions. They walked to the council chamber together. The building was grand, filled with light and the quiet hum of technology. Alien officials sat in high seats, observing as they entered. Lila's heart pounded, but she held her head high. Tira walked beside her, calm and composed. Together, they approached the main seat. Lila spoke clearly. I, Lila, propose marriage to Tira, in accordance with Erethian law. I seek only to honor Renak's memory and to follow the legal path he has left. Tira nodded. I, Tira, consent to this marriage, recognizing the need for legal clarity. I trust in honesty and respect in this arrangement. The council observed silently for a long moment. Then, one official spoke. The honesty and clarity in your words are unusual. Many enter such agreements with hidden motives. This council recognizes the sincerity. The marriage is valid under law, provided both parties continue to observe customs and show respect. Relief and excitement rushed through Lila. The marriage was real. It was official. And yet, she felt the weight of responsibility. This was not just a piece of paper. She would live with Tira, follow her world's rules, and face the challenges of being human in an alien society. After the council ceremony, they returned to the mansion. Tira guided Lila through more daily routines, how to share the home respectfully, how to manage Renok's belongings, and how to prepare for public appearances. Lila listened carefully, eager to do everything correctly. As the day ended, Tira looked at Lila and said, "You have done well. You have taken the first step. Many humans would have failed. You are learning quickly. That is important." Lila smiled. "Thank you for guiding me. I want to do this right. I want to honor Renok and respect you." Tira's gaze softened. "Then we will continue, day by day. This is only the beginning." Lila lay in her room that night, feeling a strange mixture of pride, fear, and hope. She had entered a world she barely knew, married someone she had just met, and stepped into a life full of challenges. Yet she also felt alive in a way she had never felt before. The mansion was quiet, but Lila knew her journey had just begun. She had made the choice, faced her fears, and stepped forward. Whatever came next, she would face it with courage, honesty, and determination. The morning sun rose softly over Nivera City, casting warm pink light across the mansion gardens. Lila woke early, her mind buzzing with thoughts about the day ahead. Living with Tira now was real. The council had approved their marriage, and the rules of Erethian society were clear. But following them would not be easy for a human like her. She dressed carefully, following Tira's instructions. The clothing was light and flowing, designed to adapt to the Erethian climate inside the mansion. Lila caught her reflection in the glass walls. She looked almost strange, yet elegant in the alien attire. She took a deep breath and stepped outside. Tira was already in the garden, tending to glowing plants that pulsed with faint light. She looked up and smiled slightly. "Good morning, Lila. Today, we begin your lessons in daily life and public presence. You must learn to move and act in ways that respect our people. The outside world will watch you closely." Lila nodded. "I am ready. I want to do this right." Their first task was simple but challenging. Tira guided Lila through proper walking techniques. Humans were clumsy compared to Erethians, who moved with fluid grace. Every step had meaning, every gesture conveyed respect. Lila stumbled at first, but Tira's calm guidance helped her correct her posture. "You are learning quickly," Tira said. "Many humans would take months to reach this level. Focus on balance and awareness. The people we meet will notice subtle mistakes." After the walking lesson, they moved to the dining hall. The hall was filled with soft lights and flowing holograms that displayed serene landscapes. Lila learned how to prepare meals according to Erethian customs. Ingredients were unlike anything she had seen before. Small fruits that glowed, grains that changed color when cooked, and liquids that sparkled with energy. "This is not just food," Tira explained. "It represents respect and harmony. Preparing meals properly shows consideration for all who share them." Lila followed instructions carefully, chopping, mixing, and cooking as Tira demonstrated. Her hands shook at first, but she gained confidence. By the time the meal was ready, she felt proud. Tira nodded approvingly. "Well done. You are learning not only our ways but also the patience needed to live among us." The afternoon brought a new challenge. Tira took Lila to meet the mansion's servants and advisors. Some were human, but most were aliens of many species. Each had a role, and each expected respect in return for their service. Lila introduced herself politely, bowing slightly as instructed. "Remember," Tira whispered, "your words and gestures show sincerity. Do not rush or appear impatient. Observe their reactions and adjust. Respect is earned through attention and care." Lila spent hours interacting with the staff. She learned the names of each advisor, their roles, and the correct way to address them. Small mistakes happened, but Tira corrected her calmly. By evening, Lila felt more confident, though exhausted. As they returned to the garden, Tira spoke softly. You are adapting well, but there will be more challenges. People outside this mansion will watch us. Some will admire us, others may resent our presence. You must be prepared. Lila nodded. I understand. I will do my best. I want to honor Ranak and respect you. That night, as Lila lay in her room, she reflected on the day. Learning Erethian ways was harder than she expected. Every small action carried meaning. Yet, she also felt excitement. This was a new world, and she was a part of it now. Living with Tira was not just a legal requirement. It was a chance to understand a culture she had never imagined. The next morning brought their first public appearance. Tira had invited them to a small gathering at the city hall. Lila had to represent herself as Tira's spouse, human but respectful. They arrived at the building where humans and aliens mingled. Lila felt nervous, aware that many eyes followed her every step. Tira guided her through introductions. Observe first, speak second, she whispered. Move with confidence, but humility. That is how respect is shown. Lila bowed to each person they met, introduced herself clearly, and followed Tira's example. Some of the aliens looked surprised at a human marrying an Erethian, but Lila's sincerity and attention earned quiet nods of approval. She felt a small spark of pride. During the gathering, a few officials approached Tira with questions about Ranak's estate. Lila listened carefully, learning how to answer politely and honestly. She realized that her presence was not only legal but also a symbol. Humans could work with aliens, respect their ways, and earn trust. This idea filled her with quiet joy. After returning to the mansion, Tira showed Lila how to manage daily schedules and Ranak's estate. Lila learned about accounts, properties, and responsibilities that she had never imagined. Numbers and rules that seemed confusing at first slowly made sense under Tira's guidance. Lila realized that her efforts mattered not only for herself but for Tira and for honoring Ranak's legacy. As the days passed, Lila's confidence grew. She could walk gracefully, prepare meals correctly, and speak politely with advisors and officials. She also began to notice small moments with Tira that felt different from lessons or etiquette. When Tira smiled at her quietly, or when she explained something with patience, Lila felt a warmth in her chest. She reminded herself to focus on the purpose of their marriage, yet she could not ignore these feelings. One evening, Tira invited Lila to walk in the gardens again. The moons glowed softly over the city, casting silver light across the flowing streams and glowing plants. Lila breathed in the fresh air, feeling calm. You are learning quickly, Tira said. But learning is not only about actions. You must also understand intentions. Respect comes from understanding the feelings of others, not just following rules. Lila nodded. I am trying. I want to do this right. I do not want to fail. Tira placed a hand gently on Lila's shoulder. You are not failing. You are growing. This is not easy for a human, yet you persevere. That is what Ranak admired in you. Lila felt a small smile. She realized that she was no longer just a human trying to survive in an alien world. She was learning to belong, learning to earn trust, and learning to respect a culture so different from her own. The night deepened, and the stars shone brightly above Nivera city. Lila returned to her room, her mind calm yet alert. She had faced her first real challenges and had begun to succeed. Living with Tira was still strange and new, but it no longer felt impossible. For the first time, Lila understood that this marriage, even if born from necessity, could teach her more than she had ever imagined. She had stepped into a world larger than herself, and she was beginning to find her place. The future was uncertain, but Lila felt ready to meet it. With patience, respect, and determination, she would continue to grow. She would honor Ranak, support Tira, and survive in a world that had once seemed impossible. The morning light spilled over Nivera City, painting the streets in gold and pink. Lila walked beside Tira through the mansion gardens, feeling more confident than she had just days ago. She could move gracefully, follow customs, and handle daily routines without constant correction. Yet a shadow of unease lingered. Tira stopped by a flowing crystal fountain. Her glowing eyes scanned the horizon, alert and calm. "Lila," she said, "not all who observe us are friendly. Some may wish to challenge our claim to Renok's fortune. You must be ready for confrontation." Lila felt a chill. Confrontation? What kind of danger? Rival families and business associates, Tira explained. Renok's success made him both respected and envied. Some will not accept a human and his widow controlling his estate. They may attempt legal, social, or even physical challenges. Lila's stomach tightened, but she nodded. "Then we face it together." Later that day, as they returned to the mansion, a group of alien figures waited at the gates. They were tall, muscular, and dressed in dark robes. Their eyes glowed faintly, and they radiated authority and hostility. "Who are they?" Lila whispered. "They are representatives of rival claimants," Tira said. Her voice was calm but firm. "They intend to intimidate us. Stay close and follow my lead." The group approached, and their leader spoke in a sharp tone. "Tira of Arathia, and the human Lila, we do not accept your claim to Renok's estate. He left us promises, and we demand what is rightfully ours." Tira stepped forward. "Renok's will is clear. The council has approved this marriage and inheritance. Any challenge must follow the law. Threats and intimidation will not change the legal outcome." The leader's eyes narrowed. "We shall see if the law protects you when you are unprepared. Beware, outsiders." With that, the group turned and left. Lila exhaled, feeling both fear and excitement. She had expected challenges, but seeing them in person made the threat real. Tira placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You did well. Fear is natural, but we must remain composed. We will not act recklessly. Our strength lies in strategy and unity." Over the next few days, Lila and Tira prepared for possible attacks, both legal and social. They reviewed Renok's contracts, accounts, and property documents. Lila was amazed at the complexity of the estate. It included businesses across multiple planets, rare artifacts, and advanced technology. She realized that protecting it would require intelligence, patience, and teamwork. One evening, as Lila practiced walking and gestures in the gardens, Tira approached with a small device. "I have detected unusual activity near one of Renok's storage facilities," she said. "Someone may attempt to access the estate without permission. We must investigate carefully." Lila's heart raced. "Do you want me to come with you?" "Yes," Tira said. "Your instincts as a human may help. You notice things differently. We work together." They traveled to the storage facility, a sleek building surrounded by security drones and shields. Tira deactivated the entrance locks with her code, and they entered silently. Lila noticed faint footprints, unusual heat signatures, and marks on the walls. Someone had been here recently. "They tried to bypass the security systems," Tira said. "They are skilled, but we are prepared. Follow me." They moved carefully through the facility, checking storage rooms and monitoring devices. Suddenly, a group of masked figures appeared at the far end. Lila's pulse quickened. They had come to steal Renok's technology and wealth. Tira acted quickly, using a soft, glowing energy barrier to block their path. Lila watched in awe as the barrier shimmered, repelling the intruders. "Now," Tira said, "we move forward together." Lila felt a rush of courage. She remembered her human training, her quick thinking in dangerous situations. She spotted a loose panel on the floor and pushed it toward one of the intruders, causing them to stumble. Tira followed with precise movements, guiding the energy barrier and using her strength to block the others. The intruders, realizing they were outmatched, retreated through the exit. Tira sealed the doors immediately, ensuring they could not return. Lila exhaled, her hands shaking slightly. "You did well," Tira said, placing a hand on Lila's shoulder. "Your quick thinking helped us. We make a strong team." Lila smiled faintly, feeling proud and amazed at her own abilities. She realized that this partnership with Tira was more than legal. It was about trust, cooperation, and learning to rely on each other in real danger. The next day, news spread quietly among the city's elite. Lila and Tira had defended the estate successfully. Some whispered in admiration, others in resentment. The humans' courage and the widow's skill had sent a clear message: they were prepared to protect what was theirs. Tira spoke to Lila in the gardens that evening. "You are learning quickly. Not only customs and etiquette, but also courage. That is what Renak admired in you. You are proving that humans can be trusted allies." Lila felt warmth in her chest. "Thank you for trusting me. I never imagined I could do something like this, but I feel stronger because of you." Tira's eyes softened. "Strength comes from partnership. Alone, we are vulnerable. Together, we can face any challenge." Over the next few weeks, Lila continued to learn, prepare, and defend the estate. They faced small legal challenges, rival whispers, and attempts at sabotage, but each time they succeeded. Lila discovered that she was capable of far more than she had believed. She could think quickly, act decisively, and respect alien customs while protecting the estate. One evening, after a long day of work and training, Tira and Lila sat in the mansion gardens, watching the moons rise over the city. The air was cool and fragrant, filled with the hum of glowing insects. Lila realized how much she had changed in a short time. "I never expected this life," Lila said softly. "I came here just to claim the inheritance, but now, it feels like so much more. I feel part of your world." Tira nodded. "You are learning what it means to live among us. And you are proving that humans are capable of courage, honesty, and respect. That is rare, and that is valuable." Lila smiled faintly, feeling a connection to Tira that went beyond duty or legal arrangements. She was beginning to understand the depth of trust, cooperation, and care that living in this world required. As the night deepened, Lila felt a quiet sense of belonging. She had faced danger, worked with Tira as a true partner, and begun to grow into a new life she had never imagined. The city was quiet, but in her heart, Lila felt alive, ready for whatever challenge would come next. The mansion was quiet in the early morning. Soft light filtered through the tall crystal windows, casting gentle patterns across the floor. Lila stood near the garden, her fingers brushing against the glowing petals of alien flowers. She had learned to move carefully among them, respecting their fragility. Living with Tira had become more than a legal obligation. It had become a routine filled with learning, curiosity, and moments of quiet reflection. Tira entered the garden, her glowing eyes soft in the morning light. She smiled faintly. "Good morning, Lila. Today we will discuss our future plans and continue your lessons. But first, I want to show you something important." Lila followed Tira to a small pavilion at the edge of the garden. The pavilion overlooked the city and the distant mountains. The twin suns were rising, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Lila felt a quiet awe at the beauty of the view. "This was one of Renak's favorite places," Tira said. "He often came here to think and to plan. It is a place of reflection and calm. I want you to understand the importance of this space. Leadership requires not only action but also contemplation." Lila nodded. "It is beautiful. I can see why he liked it." Tira continued, "Living here means understanding responsibility. You must care for the estate, for those who live within it, and for the people who depend on us. That includes you as well, Lila. You must care for yourself while learning to care for others. Lila listened carefully, feeling the weight of Tira's words. She had learned rules, etiquette, and safety, but responsibility was a deeper lesson. It meant understanding feelings, intentions, and the balance between work and care. After breakfast, Tira guided Lila through another set of lessons, this time about public relations. They would be attending a council gathering the next day, where representatives from multiple planets would discuss trade agreements and alliances. Lila had to appear confident, respectful, and knowledgeable. You must speak clearly, and you must listen carefully, Tira explained. Your words are human, but your intentions must be genuine. Others will notice sincerity more than perfection. Lila nodded. I understand. I will do my best. The next day, they arrived at the council hall. The building was massive, filled with light and soft hums from energy fields that stabilized the structure. Lila's heart raced as they entered. Humans and aliens of many kinds mingled, some observing, some engaging in discussions. Lila noticed that she was being watched, as Tira had warned. Throughout the meeting, Lila paid close attention. She followed Tira's guidance, answering questions politely and offering insights when appropriate. She noticed subtle cues from the council members: the tilt of a head, the change in eye color, the tone of voice. Each detail carried meaning. After the meeting, Tira and Lila returned to the mansion. The day had been long, but Lila felt proud of herself. She had managed to represent herself well and follow Tira's teachings. In the evening, Tira invited Lila to walk in the gardens. The air was cool and fragrant, and the glowing insects floated around them like tiny stars. Lila felt relaxed, and for a moment, she forgot the stress of the past weeks. You are adapting well, Tira said softly. Your actions show respect, intelligence, and courage. But there is another aspect you must learn. Trust and companionship. Lila looked at her, curious. Companionship? Yes, Tira said. Living together, facing challenges, and sharing responsibilities creates a bond. We must trust each other completely. That trust allows us to act decisively and to protect those we care for. Lila thought about their experiences: the intruders at the storage facility, the legal battles, and the daily routines. Each moment had required cooperation, patience, and understanding. She realized that she had begun to trust Tira, and that Tira, in turn, seemed to trust her. I trust you, Lila said quietly. You have guided me, protected me, and taught me so much. I want to continue learning from you. Tira's eyes softened. And I trust you, Lila. That trust is not given lightly. You have proven yourself capable, honest, and sincere. That is why I believe we can manage this life together. The next few weeks passed with a mix of challenges and small victories. Lila learned to manage the estate's daily operations, including accounts, communications, and meetings with advisors. She also learned to understand and respond to the needs of the mansion's staff. Each day, she grew more confident, and her bond with Tira strengthened. One evening, while organizing documents in the estate office, Lila paused and looked at Tira. I never imagined life like this, she said softly. At first, I thought I was here only for the fortune. But now, I feel something more. I respect you, and I want to continue learning, not just for the estate but for life itself. Tira placed a hand gently on Lila's shoulder. That is important, Lila. Life is not only about rules or wealth. It is about respect, courage, and growth. You are learning not only our customs but also the values that Ranak held dear. Lila smiled faintly, feeling warmth in her chest. She realized that the legal marriage had started as a necessity, but living together, facing dangers, and sharing experiences had created a genuine connection. She admired Tira's wisdom, strength, and calmness. The next morning, Tira surprised Lila with a small ceremony in the garden. It was not formal or legal, but symbolic. They planted a glowing flower together, representing their partnership and trust. Tira explained that the flower would grow as they grew together, symbolizing cooperation, respect, and friendship. Lila held the small plant carefully. "I will take care of it," she said. "Just like I will take care of my duties and respect you." Tira smiled. "And I will support you, Lila. Together, we can face challenges, protect the estate, and honor Renok's memory." As the twin suns set over Nivera city, Lila realized how much she had changed. She was no longer the uncertain human who had arrived at the mansion weeks ago. She was confident, capable, and part of a partnership built on respect and trust. She understood Tira's world, the responsibilities of leadership, and the value of genuine companionship. That night, Lila lay in her room, reflecting on the journey. She thought about the dangers they had faced, the lessons learned, and the growing bond between herself and Tira. She felt a quiet sense of belonging, something she had never experienced before. The future was still uncertain. Challenges, rivals, and dangers awaited. But Lila knew that with Tira by her side, and with courage and honesty guiding her, she could face anything. She had begun to discover not only the ways of an alien world but also her own strength and purpose. The morning sun rose over Nivera city, casting long shadows across the streets and reflecting off the glass towers. Lila awoke early, her mind already busy with thoughts about the challenges ahead. The rivals who had tried to intimidate them before were not done. Rumors of legal challenges to Renok's estate had spread through the city, and the council was preparing to review the case. Tira entered the room, her presence calm but serious. "Lila, the council will meet today to review the claims against us. Some families argue that our marriage is improper and question your ability to manage the estate." Lila swallowed hard, feeling a mix of fear and determination. "I am ready. I have learned from you and prepared as much as I can. I will face this challenge." Tira nodded. "Good. Remember everything you have learned. Speak clearly, show respect, and trust in the facts. Courage alone is not enough, wisdom and honesty are essential." They left the mansion and traveled to the council hall. The building was massive, filled with representatives from multiple planets and species. Lila felt nervous but focused. She had prepared documents, studied procedures, and memorized important details about the estate. When they entered the chamber, the council members were already seated, their glowing eyes observing carefully. The rivals were present as well, seated with an air of confidence and expectation. Lila noticed whispers and glances, but she kept her posture straight and followed Tira's lead. The head council member spoke. "We are here to review the claims regarding Renok's estate. The marriage between Tira and the human Lila has been called into question. Each party will present evidence and arguments. Let this session be fair and thorough." One of the rival representatives rose first. "The human does not belong in Erethian society. She is inexperienced, untrained, and incapable of managing the estate. The marriage appears to be a convenience for personal gain. Therefore, we challenge its validity and request a reassessment of the inheritance." Lila's pulse quickened, but she stayed calm. Tira placed a hand gently on her shoulder, a silent signal of support. Lila took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Honorable council members," she began, her voice steady. "I am human, and I come from a different world. I do not claim experience in Erethian traditions from birth, but I have studied, learned, and trained under Tira's guidance. I have followed the customs, respected our people, and worked diligently to manage the estate responsibly." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Renok trusted me as a friend, and I have honored that trust. The legal approval of our marriage was not a mere formality. It reflects a partnership built on honesty, respect, and commitment to responsibility. I ask that you consider not only rules but also integrity and actions. A murmur went through the council chamber. Lila's words were simple, but they carried sincerity. Tira added her voice. Council members, Tira said, I have guided Lila in every step. I have observed her actions, her respect for our customs, and her commitment to Ranok's legacy. She has proven herself capable, trustworthy, and honest. The estate's security and management are not in doubt. This partnership is valid and appropriate under Erethian law. The head council member nodded. Evidence and testimony are important. Council, we shall review documentation, witness statements, and actions taken since the marriage was recognized. Human or alien, ability and sincerity are what matter in preserving this estate and trust. The rivals attempted to argue further, questioning Lila's knowledge and experience. They presented letters and contracts, hoping to show mistakes or gaps in her management. Lila listened carefully, and when it was her turn, she addressed each concern politely and accurately. She demonstrated her understanding of the estate, the rules, and the responsibilities. Hours passed as council members asked questions, reviewed documents, and listened to testimonies. Lila remained focused, Tira at her side. Each moment tested her confidence, her knowledge, and her composure. She could feel the weight of the estate on her shoulders, but she also felt a growing sense of strength. She had trained, learned, and proven herself ready. Finally, the council chair spoke. We have reviewed all evidence and testimony. The human, Lila, has demonstrated competence, understanding of Erethian customs, and respect for the responsibilities of the estate. The marriage with Tira has been conducted properly and reflects a partnership of trust and integrity. The claim against the inheritance is denied. Relief and quiet satisfaction filled the chamber. Lila exhaled, her body relaxing for the first time in hours. Tira smiled at her, pride shining in her eyes. You did it, Tira said softly. You faced the council, the rivals, and the pressure. You showed courage and wisdom. Ranok would be proud. Lila smiled faintly, feeling warmth in her chest. I could not have done it without you. You guided me, taught me, and trusted me. I am grateful for everything. The rivals left quietly, their challenge unsuccessful. Lila realized that her actions had changed how many saw humans. She had proven that humans could respect alien culture, follow rules, and act with integrity. It was a small victory for herself, for Tira, and for the memory of Ranok. Back at the mansion, they celebrated quietly. Lila and Tira shared a meal in the garden, the glowing plants reflecting soft light around them. It was a moment of peace and reflection. Lila looked at Tira. I never imagined I could face something like that, she said. The council, the rivals, it was intimidating. But I feel stronger now. Tira nodded. Strength comes from preparation, courage, and honesty. You have learned quickly, Lila. This is not only a legal victory but also proof of your growth and partnership. Lila felt a sense of pride she had never experienced. She realized that she had grown beyond her fears and limitations. She was no longer just a human trying to claim a fortune. She was a partner, capable of responsibility, respect, and courage. Over the following days, life returned to a calmer routine. Lila continued to manage the estate with Tira, learning more about the people who depended on them and the responsibilities they carried. She had earned the respect of the staff, advisors, and even some of the rival families. The lessons she had learned from danger, council meetings, and cooperation had made her stronger, wiser, and more confident. One evening, as the moons rose over the city, Tira and Lila walked in the gardens. The air was cool and filled with the gentle hum of alien insects. Lila felt a deep sense of satisfaction. We have faced the first great challenge together, Tira said. There will be more tests, but we are prepared. Trust, honesty, and courage will guide us. Lila nodded. I understand. I will continue to learn, to grow, and to protect this estate with you. I want to honor Ranak, respect you, and prove myself worthy. Tira's eyes softened. You already are worthy, Lila. You have faced danger, learned quickly, and shown integrity. That is more than many achieve in a lifetime. Lila smiled faintly, feeling warmth and pride. She realized that the journey she had begun out of necessity had transformed into a path of growth, trust, and partnership. She was ready for whatever challenges the future might hold. The mansion was quiet in the early morning. Soft light spilled across the garden, illuminating the glowing plants and crystal fountains. Lila walked slowly along the pathways, her mind calm but alert. The trials of the past weeks, the challenges from rivals, the council meetings, and the dangers to the estate were behind them. Yet, the lessons remained, reminding her of the growth and strength she had gained. Tira joined her, moving with her usual grace. "Good morning, Lila," she said. "Today, we focus not only on responsibilities but also on life itself. You have faced challenges well, and now it is time to build the future we want together." Lila smiled softly. "I feel ready. I have learned so much, and I am grateful for your guidance. I want to continue learning and living well with you." They walked through the gardens, observing the soft movements of glowing insects and the gentle sway of alien flowers. The mansion staff moved quietly around them, a sense of calm and order filling the air. Lila realized that their efforts to protect and manage the estate had created stability, and that gave her a quiet sense of satisfaction. Tira spoke gently. "The estate is secure, the council recognizes your ability, and our rivals have been addressed. But life is more than victories and duties. It is also about connection, trust, and understanding. You and I have learned to rely on each other. That partnership is now as important as the estate itself." Lila nodded, feeling warmth in her chest. "I understand. I have come to respect you deeply, Tira, and I feel that our bond is stronger than I expected. I want to continue building it." They spent the morning reviewing the estate's plans. Lila suggested improvements to the gardens, new ways to organize documents, and methods to assist the staff. Tira listened carefully, occasionally adding her own insights. Together, they worked as a true team, combining human creativity with Erithian experience. After the work was done, Tira led Lila to the pavilion overlooking the city. The twin suns reflected off the distant mountains, casting the streets in gold and pink light. Lila felt a sense of peace she had never known before. "This view reminds me of the first days we spent together," Tira said softly. "You were learning quickly, unsure, and cautious. Now, you have grown into someone capable, thoughtful, and strong. I am proud of you." Lila smiled faintly, her heart warming. "And I am grateful for you. You guided me, taught me patience, and helped me understand your world. I feel that I truly belong here now." For the next few days, life continued smoothly. Lila managed daily operations, attended social events, and continued learning Erithian customs. She even began to introduce small human traditions into the mansion, which Tira accepted and enjoyed. It was a blending of worlds, showing that understanding and respect could create harmony between species. One evening, as the moons rose and the garden lights glowed softly, Tira invited Lila to walk along a quiet path lined with glowing vines. The air was cool, and the hum of life in the mansion surrounded them gently. "Lila," Tira said, "we have faced threats, legal challenges, and doubts. Yet, through all of it, we have remained a team. That is rare, and it is valuable. Trust and cooperation will guide us into the future." Lila nodded. "I have learned more than I expected. Not only about managing the estate or following customs but also about courage, respect, and partnership. I feel ready for whatever comes next, as long as we face it together." Tira reached out and gently held Lila's hand. It was a quiet gesture, but full of meaning. Lila felt a deep sense of connection and trust. She realized that their partnership was no longer just legal or practical. It was personal, built on shared experiences, respect, and growing friendship. As days turned into weeks, they continued to strengthen their bond. Lila became fully confident in her role within the estate. She could manage finances, coordinate staff, and represent Tira in social and legal matters. Tira continued to mentor her, sharing knowledge and wisdom, while also learning to value Lila's unique human perspective. The mansion grew livelier as well. Staff and advisors moved with ease, knowing that the partnership of Lila and Tira created stability. Small improvements were made to the gardens, dining areas, and communication systems. The estate became a place of harmony, blending alien traditions with Lila's fresh ideas. One evening, after a long day of work, they returned to the pavilion. The twin moons were rising, casting silver light across the city. Lila looked out over the landscape and felt a sense of accomplishment. She had arrived uncertain and nervous, yet now she was capable, respected, and trusted. Tira, she said quietly, I feel that we have created something meaningful here. Not just a protected estate, but a partnership, a home, and a life that I can be proud of. Tira smiled gently. You have grown beyond what I imagined. Your courage, intelligence, and sincerity have earned you a place here. Together, we have proven that humans and Earthians can cooperate, respect each other, and build a strong bond. Lila felt a quiet joy. She realized that the journey had changed her completely. The human who came to claim a fortune had become someone capable, confident, and respected. She had discovered courage, wisdom, and trust. Most importantly, she had found companionship in Tira, built on shared experiences and mutual respect. The next morning, they held a small gathering in the garden. Friends, staff, and advisors came to celebrate the completion of the challenges. Lila spoke with grace and confidence, showing that she had fully embraced her role. Tira watched proudly, knowing that their partnership had grown into something strong, genuine, and enduring. As the celebrations ended and the night settled over Nivera City, Lila walked with Tira through the quiet gardens. The air was cool, filled with the gentle hum of alien life. Lila felt a deep sense of belonging and peace. I am ready for the future, Lila said softly. I have learned, grown, and found strength I never knew I had. And I know that whatever comes next, we will face it together. Tira placed a hand gently on Lila's shoulder. That is all anyone can ask for. You have honored Ranak, respected our customs, and proven yourself worthy. You are no longer just a visitor in this world. You are part of it, part of this estate, and part of my life. Lila smiled, feeling warmth and pride. She realized that the fortune, the estate, and the lessons were only part of the journey. The true reward was growth, trust, and companionship. She had arrived uncertain, but now she was strong, confident, and ready. And as the twin moons glowed above Nivera City, Lila knew that she had found her place. She had discovered courage, respect, and partnership. She had secured Ranak's legacy and created a life filled with purpose and belonging. For the first time since arriving in this alien world, Lila felt complete. She was no longer just a human claiming a fortune. She was a trusted partner, a capable leader, and a friend. She was home.